Ready to throw it down. And we are ready to send car. The lights will extinguish. Sean and Kelsey leaving the start line. All right, so Adriano initiates. Kelsey Rawlings, you can see some smoke coming up. It's a sign that the track is drying out a little bit. As Adriano out front, Kelsey with a bit more angle action than Sean. Transition there from Sean, and now Kelsey. Look at Kelsey jumping forward. And Kelsey, you saw him transition, and unfortunately has to straighten out. Looks like it snapped back and did not maintain that angle into that outer zone in that chase position, Ryan.
Yeah, Kelsey was looking pretty good there as Sean takes a lead. Gets an initiation. You can see Kelsey closing the door here. Sean wrapping around that first inside clip right on that second hash mark. Good job by Kelsey trying to keep it close. Sean out to that touch and go, just a bit too shallow there. Now, as Kelsey transitions back around, you can see that rear bumper fling out pretty quickly there, and she has to pull it back around. She straightens out for a second, and you can see the reinitiation to get to angle. So a bit of a mistake there by Kelsey in the chase position. And now we will switch things up as she'll go to the lead. Sean Adriano will chase her down.
All right, so Sean in that 2JZ powered S13 chasing down Kelsey Rawlings. Both these guy and gal on Achilles tires. Kelsey, good initiation, solid angle from her. Now past that first front clip, looks like Sean Adriano applied, but then had to back down. So a mistake there for Sean. Sean had it early, and right here is where Kelsey straightened out. Sean continues on. So Ryan, this is where it gets a little interesting, and oh, buddy, that got a little sketchy there.
Yeah, in a standard run, this would be two incompletes in the chase. You see, Sean has really low angle here. Kelsey doing okay. That's where the incomplete happens. So I think what the judges are going to be looking at here is comparing lead to lead. In a standard run, that's typically what would happen because we only have the lead runs to look at for comparison because there's two incompletes in the chase. Now that's on a standard situation here. Extenuating circumstances, the course is.
Slide him left for Kelsey Rawlings, slide him right for Sean Adriano. Brian says one more time. Andy says Sean Adriano, and Ryan Lontaine says one more time. So they're going at it again. So it's a one more time battle between these two. Rain stays away. Definitely humid there just a little bit ago. Seems to have chilled out. Garrett Denton out front. And Josh Robinson in that chase position. Garrett initiating. Taking the outside line. Tighten it up really quick. Taking the tighter line right on that front clip. Now trying to work it to the outside zone. He does that. Good flow for him. Good job for Garrett Denton. You see Robinson quickly straighten out, but then gain some ground. And around that final clip goes Denton and Robinson.
Well, Jared, enough grip here to start generating some smoke. Garrett Denton out in front with Josh Robinson in the chase. Garrett gets a nice initiation as Josh tries to close the door there. Starting to see some speed pick up. A little bit of a mistake there by Josh in the chase position on his transition from outside zone 2 to the touch and go. Garrett out front flowing pretty well, but you can see Josh is surging at moments on the course, taking away proximity. And as they cross the finish line there, they'll now go back and switch things up with Garrett Denton going to the lead. Excuse me, the chase, and Josh Robinson going to the lead.
All right, Josh Robinson now out front. Garrett Denton chasing him down. See how Robinson, that big U, can handle this big sweeper. Great degree of angle. Garrett Denton. Seen a lot more smoke come up from these cars. Now through that power alley into the touch and go, into that front clip. Garrett Denton works to the side of Robinson. You see Robinson make a small correction there, exiting that outside zone.
Very impressed by Garrett Denton in his timing in the chase position. Taking some big risks, and it looked like it's going to pay off here. Josh Robinson out front, great lead run, lots of smoke being generated, good speed. Garrett Denton keeping him in tow. Tucks up on the inside right here. Great move by Garrett. And then watch this right here. He anticipates how far Josh is going to flow into that outside zone and catches it right there. Keeps proximity on as Josh goes a little bit wide there.
All right, so slide him left for Robinson, right for Denton. Ryan says Garrett Denton. So does Brian, and Andy says, regardless, Garrett Denton gets the win. All right, so Sean Adriano. Sean Adriano and Kelsey Rawlings about to throw down. The one more time battle. Again, 2-1 in the judges' hands. And Adriano throws it in. Whoa, Kelsey Rawlings, you see her get to the side of an S13. Adriano through that power. Kelsey Rawlings losing some ground. Looks like she barely just nicks that Black Magic Intense clipping point. And around that clip, Adriano and Rawlings.
Well, remember, Jared, the judges were looking at that lead lap from both drivers, try to determine the winner because of the incompletes in the chase. So the judges want to see him get clean through here. Course conditions making that much more plausible. Bit of a mistake there by Kelsey, trying to anticipate coming into inside clip 1, now coming through the power alley here. Kelsey losing a little bit of ground. Sean trying to get deep into that zone as Kelsey now takes a little bit of a shallower line to gain proximity.
Either Sean Adriano or Kelsey Rawlings. Soap on the line, ready to send it. And there they go. Good clean start for both of them. No cones hit. If they did hit a cone, that would be a restart. Not such the case. Kelsey Rawlings, massive angle there, but she has to take some out of it. A correction there from Kelsey Rawlings out front. And Adriano, he has a mistake in the chase position. Kelsey Rawlings with that mistake, though, that could have caused Adriano to kind of get a bit nervous. And Kelsey Rawlings does not get all the way out to the outside zone. Ryan, let's analyze this again here.
Well, we haven't gone in depth into the lead and chase driver responsibilities, but I have to think that the lead responsibility is going to come into play here with Kelsey on turn number 1. She gets a good jump, puts a lot of angle in the car, but then she almost understeers there by pulling some out. And then Sean right there coming up in proximity has to make an adjustment. Now the has to make an adjustment part is an interpretation, so we'll have to see exactly if the judges saw it that way. Now the rest of the run, you can see Sean keeping the pressure on Kelsey here. Kelsey out front, nice job on that final inside clip. But we'll definitely go to Ryan and get his interpretation of what happened from the judge's perspective.
Slide him left for Rawlings, right for Adriano. Ryan says Adriano, as does Andy, and it's unanimous, Sean Adriano. And here we go for this battle of Donati and Hurst. The winner to go against Garrett Denton, who just took out Josh Robinson. Denton initiates. Hurst needs to gain some ground here, but look at that, Denton really off of that front clip. He does, whoa, some wavering. Got a little sketchy there, approaching that touch and go, but regained some ground. Hurst punts that front clip into that outer zone. So Ryan, it seemed to me that Denton had a, again, he was way off of that front clip. You saw him wavering coming into that power alley, and then Hurst just kind of a consistent amount of distance between them.
Yeah, Donati out front got a nice early initiation just before the last standing cone, but relative to some of the other drivers, you can see he gets a big jump here. And Hurst having a little bit of trouble as he transitions through that power alley. Then he center punches that second inside clip. And Donati out front looking pretty good. He had a lot of pace in his vehicle.
All right, Jonathan Hurst out there in that Dynasty G37. Jeff Donati initiates, really trying to get into his business. So Jonathan Hurst out front taking a similar line to that of Donati. Seeing some smoke. Whoa, buddy! And Donati takes a tighter line as Jonathan Hurst overcooks it. The composure that Donati had there was very impressive because he could have easily have followed Hurst, but he kept his composure and kept it between the lines.
Not only that, there was a window of opportunity to pass on an inside clip. and he decided not to do that, or not to push the pace. But he was very fast in his first run. On his second run, we see right here how challenging it is to drive through that smoke line. Now Hurst is going to go off course here. Donati is on the inside on the right line. He could have passed there. I'm glad that he kind of held back a little bit and still kept it in drift, because I think he probably would have got the timing wrong.
Right. Slide him left for Hurst, right for Donati.
I expect this will need an explanation.
Yes, please do. Jonathan Hurst gets the win. So slide him left for Hurst or right for Donati. So Jonathan Hurst unanimously gets the win. As Travis Reeder is to go against Crick Filippi, but we are finding out, unfortunately, the Vallejo, California driver Crick has broken something in his car and unable to fix it. So that means Travis Reeder, who is coming into this round, a 1-point lead over Dylan Hughes. He's moving on to the Grade 8. So Travis Reeder, the Achilles tire, S13. All right, so now there we go. We got a clean start. Ula Yeager out front. Riley Sexsmith in the chase position. Ula bringing it into that front clip, about the second hash mark there for Yeager. Sexsmith tucked into that smoke signal. Some wavering there from Sexsmith. And now bringing in that outside zone. Ryan, fortunately, we're seeing smoke. Unfortunately for Sexsmith, it's in his face. Only reason I'm happy to see smoke is because we're getting drier and more ideal conditions.
Yeah, and this was definitely a battle that a lot of people are looking forward to. These two guys are some of the top drivers in Pro 2. Out front, Ula Yeager gets a pretty good start there. He's on that second hash mark. Now this is where you can see Sexsmith driving through the smoke line. The front end comes out from underneath him for a second there, and he has to pull out. And he makes a little other tiny mistake as he goes into that outside zone. Yeager out front hits that final inside clip.
All right, our starter out there. And there we go. So Ula Yeager, again, the chase car can leave a little early to time the chase. So sparks being thrown there by Sexsmith, the NV Auto Toyota 86. About the second or third hash mark. And Ula Yeager, quite a bit of distance between them. Sexsmith, not very tight too. That front clip now kind of evading, almost getting away. So unfortunately for Sexsmith, quite a bit of distance between him and all the clipping zones.
Yeah, Sexsmith having a bit of trouble in the line department. Yeager falling back a little bit through the power alley here. Sexsmith on a higher line, and he's going to miss that inside clip on the third hash mark. Now this is where some separation happens from Yeager. He does stay in drift. Sexsmith wide on that second inside clip and coming up short on that outside zone. Yeager starts to catch him here, and Sexsmith shoots a little bit wide and leaves a door open for Yeager to close that big gap that had been established. So both run in the books now, and we go to the judges.
Going to the judges, slide him right for Ula Yeager. Ula Yeager unanimously gets the win. Unfortunately, the beard does not harness the power this time. So on paper, Brody Goebel's the guy to beat here. Squirt, let's see what you got from Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania. These guys ripping into that sweeper. Brody Goebel, massive angle. We've seen some great things from Troy Manners over the years. Brody Goebel out to that outside zone, fills it up. Flying through that power alley, taking out that front clip. And Brody Goebel, he has just stepped up tremendously over the years. Ooh, exploding that front bumper and that front fender. That's definitely going to leave a mark there, Ryan.
Wow. Yeah, a bit of damage there. Goebel very strong in this first run. Manners in the chase position, a little bit less angle, but Goebel overshooting that first inside clip. Now Manners, a little bit of separation here as Goebel flying through that center section, misses the touch and go, hits that inside clip. Pretty good job on that outside zone. And then right there hits that inside clip right on that rubber stomper.
And here we go. Moving on down. Troy Manners out front. Car rocking and rolling. Brody Goebel might be giving himself a little bit too much distance here on the second hash mark for Manners. Taking out, exploding his front bumper. It is a bumper graveyard here at Texas Motor Speedway. Brings it around that final clip. Ryan, I'd really like to see side by side here.
Well, Manners, when he hit that second inside clip and the pieces came off his car, actually Goebel got into it, went under his car, and then flew out the back as well. Let's take a look at this first run. Goebel a bit wide there, as well as Manners, but Manners is a lead driver. He's controlling the pace. Manners center punches that. There goes the bumper. Part of it goes underneath Goebel's car, then he shoots it out. And now Goebel back on line with Manners as they cross the finish line there. So
slide him left for Manners, right for Brody Goebel. Ryan, Andy, and Brian. Andy says one more time. Ryan says Brody Goebel, and Brian says Brody Goebel. So Brody Goebel comes out on top. Robbins will lead. He qualified 6th compared to 11th of Gauthier. And here comes Robbins. Robbins getting quite a big jump here on Gauthier. Let's see if Gauthier can gain some ground. Robbins very tight to that front clip. Robbins, a former MDU champion. Actually piloted a truck in the Midwest Drift Union. And Gauthier punting that front clip. And around that final clip. Alec Robbins really putting on a show there. I just talked about it. He got 3rd in St. Louis. He can get back on the box and really shake things up.
yeah, you can see why he had that great positioning in St. Louis. He got that nice early initiation, back on throttle pretty early. Gauthier falls off, goes a little bit wide in trying to follow him through that first inside clip. Robbins fills that first outside zone, gets right out to the touch and go. Great job there. Nice, smooth, fluid transition back around. And meanwhile, Gauthier is still a bit behind here. Better than we've seen from others, but...
And it looks like we are clear to send. Gauthier and Robbins. Gauthier gets a really good jump out of the gate. We'll see if that throws Robbins off, or is he ready to party on the side of that S14. And already Robbins gets next to Gauthier. A lot of smoke being kicked off of that S14 through that power out. Look at Gauthier taking out that, man, that front clip is just getting a hammer. Oh, and Robbins goes inside of Gauthier. Gauthier stays in it and continues on. Robbins rounds it out. Sage, this is when it comes into whose fault is it?
Well, remember, there are 2 decel areas that have been noted on this track. One is at initiation, the other one is before outside zone number 2. So that's what the judge is going to be looking for. Robbins' car looks like he's having a little bit of trouble there, and the bumper side of things in the back. We're all going to be watching very closely here what happens. Now, Robbins, you can see exactly what it's like for the lead driver to be driving through the smoke line. Almost impossible. He's accelerating here, and Gauthier is floating it out to that outside zone. Now, the judges are going to be looking at is Gauthier decelerating, not in the right area, or is Robbins coming up too quickly?
I'll let you do your thing here.
Okay, do my thing.
Do your thing.
Slide him left for Sebastian Gauthier or right for Alec Robbins, and Ryan, Andy, and Brian unanimously say Sebastian Gauthier. That is our final battle of the top 16, and Gauthier joins the other 7 drivers in the Great 8. The lights illuminating, extinguish, Sopa with the power stance, and Dylan Hughes through that start chicane. Here we go. Into the sweeper. Sean Adriano tries to get to the side of Dylan Hughes. Dylan, good angle, gets out to the outer zone, fills, ooh! Drops the tire in the dirt. But unwavered, now into that final outer zone. Sean Adriano had a difficult time getting all the way out there. Dylan Hughes, about the 3rd hash mark across the finish line, Ryan.
Yeah, this is where things start to get very difficult in terms of driving conditions. It's pretty much dark here. Smoke is starting to pile up from the lead driver. As Hughes starts off with a pretty decent run, but then he falls off right there, drops the tire. He's able to get back on it, collect himself. Adriano is a bit offline in trying to chase the lead driver. Hughes just gets into the beginning of that outside zone. No angle there from Adriano coming through that final inside clip.
Kind of a reference point when they initiate. So Sean Adriano will now lead. Dylan Hughes will give chase. That could have got really hairy there for Dylan Hughes. He dropped some tire, threw some sparks. That could have really spun him out, but did not do so. Adriano, oh boy, a lot of understeer there from Adriano. Down to that outside zone. Oh, Adriano now gets into that dirt. Whoa, Dylan Hughes lunges forward. Really flirting with disaster there. Whoa, Adriano gets all of that outer zone. Wow. Brian?
Very interesting run here, Jared. Let's take a look here at Sean Adriano. He initiates pretty early at that second standing cone, but big understeer here. Massive understeer there, and that's going to play a huge role. He goes off course right there for a second, drops a tire. Hughes surging forward. Nice job by Hughes. Takes a little bit of a tighter line as Adriano very close to the tire wall. But Jared, you have to imagine that understeer there for that pretty significant amount of time is going to be a big factor in the overall scoring for the judges.
Right. So Adriano, slide him left for him. Dylan Hughes on the right, and Ryan, Andy, and Brian all say the dozer. Dylan Hughes advances on into the Final Four. Are you the dude, Ryan? Are you the dude? Dude abides? Here we go. Garrett Denton will lead. He qualified 4th compared to Hurst, who qualified 12th. Garrett Denton initiates now. Look at that, Hurst. And that Dynasty G37 gets close, but then Denton back. Denton pulls away. Denton sees a quick correct. Whoa, wrong side of that clip there for Jonathan Hurst. You saw Denton in the power alley have some wavering, but to be honest, I think Jonathan Hurst got lost in the smoke, and then you saw him go into the dirt, all 4 tires off.
Well, we remember the call from the last run with Hurst. He did go off course, not completely, but this time around he does a bit too much this time in the chase position. As we see the transition here, watch this. He's going to come up very tight and go all 4 off on the inside of that clip. So I have to imagine that is going to be an incomplete.
All right, we are sending cars here. Jonathan Hurst in that Dynasty G37. Garrett Denton, Cora Works, S14. And now here comes Jonathan Hurst. Good angle from him. Looks like he's feeling much more comfortable. Knocks over. Look at that. Look at that smoke screen. This is what I was talking about. Can Garrett Denton handle that? Looks like he is. But right here, maybe gets a little shaken. Oh, and Jonathan Hurst goes in, has to straighten out. And Ryan, unfortunately, you know, for Jonathan Hurst, you saw him throw a massive angle, got into that outside zone very early, and I think Garrett Denton got a little bit of a lucky break there. He was going to go inside of him.
Well, I think Jonathan Hurst knew he really needed to pull out all the stops. He would have to force a big air to Garrett Denton. Now Garrett is keeping him pretty close here. He's driving through the smoke line pretty well, but then right here you can see again Hurst goes really tight on that inside clip, and as he transitions he's offline. He's not able to hold that angle. He's completely in the wrong area of the course there, and he has to shut it down. At that point Garrett Denton realizes that he also needs to shut it down. He does do that to keep things safe, and this should be Garrett Denton moving on into the next round.
All right, let's take a look and slide him right for Garrett Denton. Garrett Denton gets the victory. He is going to the Final Four. So this should be a really good battle, given these guys, you know, their driving prowess. So Reeder will lead. Ula Yeager will give chase here in this next entire Grade 8. Initiating is the red leader against Chucky, the Supra, Travis Reeder. All of the course goes Reeder. Now into that clip, these guys just, again, exploding. Whoa, buddy. Really using all the courses. Reeder, Ula Yeager having a tough time hanging with Reeder in that S13.
Well, it's been a back and forth championship lead between Reeder and Hughes. Reeder, a must-win situation for him, gets a nice start. Gets back on throttle. Yeager trying to chase him down here, but Reeder on throttle here through that first inside clip into the first outside zone. Nice transition there. Little bit tight though. Center punches that second inside clip, fills the zone. You can see Yeager having a tough time keeping pace.
Ula Yeager will lead. Travis Reeder will give chase. Travis Reeder, the Walmart greeter. Hey, how you doing? Up on the door of Ula Jaeger. Jaeger, at the second hash mark. Reeder now tucks in the smoke signal. Seems pretty comfortable in the chase position. Both of them navigating past that final front clip. And Reeder right there on the door of Ula Jaeger in the Toyota Supra. Ula Jaeger not getting out to the outside zone. Let's take a look at this here again, Ryan.
Well, if Reeder made a couple minor mistakes in his lead, Jaeger did as well, but it was Reeder who really kept the pressure on in the chase. Jaeger here is going to go a tiny bit wide on that first inside clip. He's trying to get out to this zone here. Gets out of it a little early, does not get out to the touch and go, and that's going to give a faster line, but Reeder recognizes it. He stays on the attack, and then right here, he keeps it very close to this inside section here. And so now we go to the judges for a very pivotal battle here in the Great 8.
Slide him left for Jaeger, right for Travis Reeder. Reeder is getting the win. Travis Reeder, all three judges, it's unanimous saying that Reeder is getting the win and going to the Final Four. And here we go. Brody Goebel, Sebastian Gauthier. Oh, look at that. Sebastian actually pacing him fairly well. We'll see if that pays off. Can he gain some ground and hold that proximity? And Sebastian Gauthier right there on the door, Brody Goebel. But Goebel quickly pulls away and into that front clip. Brody Goebel into that outside zone. Sebastian Gauthier shortens it up quite a bit. He compromises that outside zone and goes for that final clip, going very shallow, Ryan.
Well, Gauthier was definitely pushing the pace there in the chase, down the back straight and right into initiation. Goebel gets on it, smoke line coming up. Gauthier with a little bit less angle, but keeping the pressure on. Right there, Goebel one chalk wide of that first inside clip. Does not hit the touch and go. He gets to outside zone 1, but does not hit the touch and go. Takes a faster line there. Gauthier was falling back. Now he's on a tighter line, tries to close the door. He goes off course with the front 2.
Now out front, which Canadian driver is advancing on the winner of this battle to go against Travis Reeder, who's fighting for a championship? Gauthier and Goebel. As Gauthier initiates, Brody Goebel really needs to step it up here. Maybe he's saving it, keeping some in the bank. And Goebel, there he goes. Goebel jumps up to the side of Sebastian Gauthier. Brody Goebel goes hard into the tires. Oh man, Brody Goebel was flying through that power alley. And Ryan, I was gonna say we haven't seen any calamity yet, but the tire wall claims another victim. I can see him moving in there. Make sure, turn it off. That was a big hit there, Ryan. And,
well, one thing that's been very noticeable the past few runs is that the lead drivers are not getting out to the outside touch and go. They're drawing a much faster line, and that can really play a role as they lead through and pass through that second inside clip. Here's Gauthier in the lead. Watch, he's not going to get out to the touch and go at all. Goebel's going to follow him. He's on a tighter line. As Gauthier transitions back, Goebel is in the smoke line. He transitions further back and ends up in the tire wall. I think we're taking a look here as this is right past that second inside clip. And you can see we lose Goebel there. But as he transitions, he was driving through the smoke line, both drivers. And now, remember, Gauthier is in the lead driver and does not hit that touch and go. They come flying through that inside clip. He's in the smoke line there. He transitions a bit late and nowhere to go but in the wall.
Ooh. Slide him left for Gauthier, slide him right for Brody Goebel, and you have to assume Sebastian Gauthier gets the victory. Lantain? And we are sending cars. Here we go. Our first battle of the Final Four. And here we go. Dylan Hughes out front. We got a clean start, no cones hit. Dylan Hughes initiates into the sweeper. Garrett Denton right there, kind of hanging out next to Dylan Hughes. That's where he should be. And now transitioning into the power alley and that final front clip. Garrett Denton taking it out. Dylan Hughes gets all the way to the outside zone, just barely evading it. But Garrett Denton really on the door of Dylan Hughes, who's in contention for the championship.
Well, Garrett Denton looking to play role of spoiler here. Definitely kept the pressure on. He surges forward right there after initiation. And you can see Hughes wrapping through this first inside clip. He's on that second hash mark, pushing out to the outside zone. Nice job right there by Hughes, but Denton closing the door. Denton's going to be a little bit tight on this inside clip here. But now as he transitions back around, you can see Hughes just missing that outside zone. And right there, Denton making him pay for it on that last corner.
All right. And here is the second half of this battle. And here we go. Garrett Denton out front. Dylan Hughes in the chase position. Garrett Denton initiates. Dylan Hughes, you can see now him. It's kind of like they're alternating positions. Similar run there to Garrett Denton now. Losing some ground as Dylan Hughes, look at him jumping forward, trying to get on the door, allowing him just enough grace to pass. And it looks like Garrett Denton gets deep into that outer zone. Make some noise for Garrett Denton and Dylan Hughes.
Good back and forth battle here. Denton out front initiates Hughes. A little bit less angle, but he gets proximity there. A sacrifice for a benefit. Now Denton through that outside zone. Puts more angle into the car. He misses that second inside clip. Nice move right there. Good adjustment by Hughes in the chase position. Hughes falls back for a second and then surges forward right through the finish line. So good battle here, and it's all in the judges' hands.
All right, our next battle, our next pair warming up their tires. So slide them left for Denton or right for Dylan Hughes, and it looks like Garrett Denton will play spoiler. Garrett Denton will be going to the finals, taking out Dylan Hughes. And Reeder out front. Can he get a larger gap on Dylan Hughes for this overall championship? It's definitely going to come down to Irwindale for the 2018 Link Engine Management Pro 2 Championship. Reeder initiates. Sebastian Gauthier in that chase position. You can see Reeder tight to that clip. Gauthier gets left in that Achilles tire smoke. And Reeder exploding that front clip. Reeder gets out to that outside zone. Well executed. You know, a contender for the Pro 2 Championship last year came down to this round where Kevin Lawrence mathematically, it just all worked out for Kevin Lawrence, but now Reeder wants it.
Well, Gauthier trying to get a good jump here to stick with Reeder. And Reeder, one thing that he's done pretty consistently that not a lot of other drivers have done is get to this outside touch and go. And you can see even with that gap, he still gets out there right on the edge. Pretty good job on that inside clip, and he's deep into this outside zone. Meanwhile, you see a few car lengths back, Gauthier there just not able to hang with him. So he's got to have his work cut out for him going into his lead run.
Who's going to the finals to go against Garrett Denton? Second battle of the Final Four. Gauthier and Reeder. Gauthier, wow, look at that. Reeder initiates right to the side of Gauthier. Gauthier, a little bit of a straight line, kind of lacking angle there, allowing Reeder to keep good proximity. Hopefully Reeder doesn't get lost in the smoke in his case, but looks like a very shallow line there for Gauthier. You can see Reeder kind of lunging forward there, Ryan. Let's take a look at this again.
Well, that was another example of driving through the smoke line and managing to get through it pretty well by Reeder. He reads him well, no pun intended, and he's able to make a good run in his chase position. Gauthier pretty wide, losing a little bit of angle through that first inside clip, does get out to that outside zone, misses the touch and go, and this is where Reeder gets a good read on it here. Through the smoke line, he manages to get right up on that door. He surges forward for a second, but he does keep angle in the car. But notice he's keeping the pressure on Gauthier, and Gauthier was not able to do that to him, while Travis Reeder had a solid lead run that was not cutting the line anywhere on the course.
Let's see if we have a verdict. Slide him left for Gauthier or right for Travis Reeder gets the win. Reeder is going to the finals. That shakes things up as... Are you kidding me?